Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas. We're almost there, and America is kind of coming to a halt. I mean, Christmas is Sunday, and yeah, things are winding down. You're looking at the beautiful campus of West Point, of course, our nation's premier military academy, at least one of them. They've been around for a couple of centuries, and right now, the academy is totally empty. All of these cadets are back home, as they should be. It's deserted. And while it's quiet, while nobody is looking, they're going to take down everything that refers to the Confederacy, that mentions General Lee, one of its graduates, the one graduate who graduated without any demerits. It will all be erased because, well, that's the world we live in right now. West Point moves to vanquish Confederate symbols from campus, and that concerns primarily General Lee. The commission recommended that Lee Barracks, Lee Road, Lee Gate, Lee Housing Area, and Lee Area Child Development Center all be renamed. Okay, because, yep, they're all going away. Now, General Lee, of course, was the commanding general for the South during the Civil War. He was a graduate of West Point. And here his portrait was unveiled 70 years ago. That portrait will be taken down. I think it's in the dining hall right now. This, of course, in my opinion, is absurd. We can't erase, we shouldn't erase our history. And folks, okay, you want to say that Robert E. Lee was a bad guy? He certainly was on the losing side. I'm so glad the Union won that war, right? We hate slavery, we despise slavery, but it was there throughout the world. This is getting nuts. And once they're done with the generals and the presidents they don't like, they're going to come after, they already have, the Bible. So in the Holy Bible, you remember the story of Joseph, right? In the Old Testament, Joseph, his brothers, they were jealous, pushed him in the pit, then he went to jail, had one rough time of it, and then finally the Pharaoh was like, "You're a good guy, Joseph. I want you as my right-hand man." Joseph worked with slaves. Joseph may have ordered slaves what to do. The next step is they're coming for the Bible because of slavery. It's throughout the Bible, along with a lot of other things. I think that would be really bad, don't you? You know, senior leaders are supposed to be smart. They're supposed to see the long game. We don't have smart leaders. This man has not made much of a name for himself. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin used to know who the Secretary of Defense was. Household name famous, right? Not this guy, because he's very mediocre, and he's still conflicted about America. Still seems to think it's a systemically racist place.
There's probably not a job that I had since I was a lieutenant colonel where some people didn't question whether or not I was qualified to take that job. It's the world I live in, and I'm sure that the other officers that you talk to would probably say the same thing. There's not a day in my life, David, when I didn't wake up and think about the fact that I was a black man. I would go someplace with my staff and we were wearing civilian clothes. Somebody would come out to meet the general, and I wasn't the guy that they walked up to.
All right, he's the Secretary of Defense. When he was in the military, he wore 4 stars, and he complains about systemic racism. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would he join a military to defend a country that's so racist? And by the way, those people who come out and think the other person might be the general and not you, that doesn't mean anyone's racist. That means this country has serious problems that have not been addressed, all right? Barack Obama talked about him back in 2008, but we can't do that anymore. We just want to count how many faces are black, how many faces are Asian, that kind of nonsense. It shouldn't matter. By the way, one of my favorites, Ben Carson, he told me once that he had to deal with this. Ben Carson was a brain surgeon, one of the very best in the world. At one point, he may have been the only black brain surgeon in the world. And people would see him, and he'd come into the room, and they thought he was maybe a nurse. They thought maybe he was an orderly. And when they found out he was the doctor, they were so apologetic. And he laughed. And he told me, you know what? They felt so bad. He would make a friend for life. And he understood. It's not their thinking or their bias. It's the reality of the world we live in. It would be great if there were more black brain surgeons, but there aren't. It would have been great if we had more of a lot. Does that make sense? I hope so. But back to our military, they're just hung up on, it must be somebody else's fault. It must be those white supremacists.
The truth of the matter is, we need your help. I'm talking, of course, about extremism and extremist ideology. I also want you to share with your leadership your own personal experiences with encountering extremist and extremist ideology in the military.
Wow, what a great big fat waste of time. But it's very fashionable right now, of course.
I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it.
So this has turned out to be a huge distraction, and it's damaged national security. The Pentagon has a lot more serious things to do. There are only so many hours in the day, yet we've cluttered it with all of this other stuff that's not making us stronger, not making us more secure. You know, it was hard enough being in the military before this woke craze. Landing on an aircraft carrier is hard. Soldiers, sailors, Marines, they need to be focused on these basic skills. Firing artillery batteries, that's hard stuff. It takes a lot of coordination and a lot of practice. You don't want too many timeouts to undergo diversity, equity, and inclusion training, all right? Climbing off of a fast boat into a helicopter, that stuff is hard. The woke stuff is time-consuming, and it's unnecessary. It really is. And I do believe this is one of the reasons why America is declining, why we lost in Afghanistan. It was a horrible loss. And nobody ever talks about it anymore. It's just like, well, that's what we do now. We aren't as great as we used to be, and we're just going to accept this. Pretty amazing. You know, Secretary Austin and General Milley, they're very conversant when it comes to issues of gender and race and sexuality. But when it comes to that war they lost, humana, 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 humana.
So it sounds like you're saying this depends on diplomacy with the Taliban. That's it. That's our only option, is getting them to agree to do this.
Well, let me add something here, Helene. We got a couple entry control points set up, a north one, an east one, and a third one at Abbey Gate. They're currently manned with consular officers.
Yeah. Just try to throw some military jargon around. We blew it. They blew it. You can tell they have no real good answers. They had none. But you know what? The press really wasn't pressing all that hard. It's fascinating. Joe Biden can come in and blow a war, and that's okay. Donald Trump, what did he do? You know when he really lost the confidence of the mainstream media and a good chunk of the woke military brass? When he came out and very reasonably said that the military is no home for transgender people. He did it in a tweet. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Also, our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. That's totally reasonable and actually quite mainstream. All hell broke loose. Remember this guy?
Today, the President of the United States looked American soldiers in the eye and dared to question their patriotism, their courage. He doubted their commitment to their brothers and sisters in uniform. He said that our military couldn't or wouldn't stand for all of us. To the thousands of brave transgender men and women serving today in uniform, please know that a grateful nation does not take your service, your patriotism for granted. You deserve better from your president. You deserve better from your government. You deserve better from your country.
It was so moving and so silly. I think that's a Kennedy, by the way. Is that one of the Kennedys? Yeah, that's one of the Kennedys. a total overreaction. What Donald Trump did was totally reasonable. Just ask some people who served. Actually, one of the most famous people who ever served, Colin Powell. I know he went woke crazy and endorsed every Democrat he could at one point, but here he is when he was active duty as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Back then, gays in the military was the hot issue. Where did he come down on that?
But open homosexuality in units is not just the acceptance of benign characteristics such as color or race or background. It involves matters of privacy and human sexuality that, in our judgment, if allowed to exist in the force, would affect the cohesion and well-being of the force.
Wow. Maybe we should take down all of his statues. Take down anything named for him, right? I mean, how could he have such an attitude? I do think that gays should be able to serve in the military, heterosexuals. It doesn't really matter what your orientation is, but I don't think we should make a big deal out of it, whether you're straight or gay. Sound reasonable? Who remembers the movie Full Metal Jacket? Great film. In part inspired me to join the Marine Corps, actually. I know that's kind of crazy. This is a classic image from the film, from the movie poster. The Marine Corps officially, during Gay Pride Month, which, oh, by the way, seemed to last for a year, put this out. Get it? The rainbow bullets. Yep. All about celebrating pride, celebrating diversity, celebrating the orientation of individual Marines. This is so counter to what military culture is supposed to be about. It's not about those things. It's about the uniform. It's about the mission. It's about shared values, right? American values, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. You don't have to advertise your orientation, straight or gay, anywhere, in my opinion, but they won't stop. Marine Corps may drop ma'am and sir over gender-neutral concerns. Yep. The rest of the military may do it as well. Employing gender-neutral identifiers eliminates the possibility of misgendering drill instructors, which can unintentionally offend or cause discord. This from a University of Pittsburgh study. Marine Corps may implement this policy. They seem to be so intent on going woke with the rest of the military. And again, that stuff is time-consuming. Look at all these other things that you have to worry about other than, well, closing in on the enemy and killing the enemy and getting enough guns and planes over there, logistics, all the stuff that the military is supposed to be focused on. Hey, going back to the sir or ma'am thing, if I could see that policy one more time. Strangely enough, on this one thing, I may be okay with it, all right? I never, quite frankly, when I was in the military, felt comfortable calling anybody ma'am. And sometimes the sir thing got a little bit cumbersome. Who remembers Mary Tyler Moore? All right, she moves to that new town. She's alone, and she wants to meet a guy, and this happens to her.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am?
Ma'am? Oh, you mean me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am? This kid. Well, no, he wasn't even a kid. He must have been 21 or 22 years old. He comes over to me, and he calls me ma'am. Ma'am.
Your first time?
Yeah.
Felt like it aged her. Rhoda seemed to agree. I kind of get that, actually. And the thing about sir, it can be cumbersome. Donald Trump, actually, I think it may have rubbed him even the wrong way. It can be, well, listen to this.
The general came to me and he said, "Sir, I know the way you like everything to be perfect."
They said, "Sir, we'll need approximately 2 years." I said, "How about 1 week?"
They said, "Sir, you can't win." Why? Because big tech is against you. Guys would come up to me every once in a while. "Sir, do you have anything to do with Russia?" They call me up and they say, "Sir, how are you, sir? Mr. President, sir."
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think it can be passive aggressive. It's also cumbersome, and then you start to think, okay, you're in the military. How many times has this guy called me sir? Is it enough? Is it too much? I think it might be something we get away with. Anyway, kind of besides the point tonight, I want to get back, though, to the really important stuff about the military. One more time, Full Metal Jacket. It's about a team. It's about one. It's about the uniform. Uniform. Isn't that like uni one, right? Anyway, who remembers this scene from Full Metal Jacket? It's a little bit crude, but he's onto something.
You're the lowest form of life on Earth.
You are not even human beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian. Because I am hard, you will not like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn. I am hard, but I am fair. There is no racial bigotry here. I do not look down on or here you are all equally worthless.
Wow, you can't say those words in the movies even anymore. But it's true, actually. It did not matter what you look like or where you came from. That was the whole point. And now it's only about the differences. How sad. This also happened in the movie. And quite frankly, it's one of the reasons why I joined.
Today, you people are no longer maggots. Today, you are Marines. You're part of a brotherhood. From now on, until the day you die, wherever you are, every Marine is your brother.
All right? I love it. I love it. Brother or sister, by the way. Thank you, Gunnery Sergeant Lee Ermey. Thank you, Stanley Kubrick. And thank you to the United States Marine Corps. Please, please don't go woke. We have to stop this. I'll be right back.